Hi guys, how are you doing? Today I'm going to talk about an expression I used in one of my recent posts or blogs, cultural plurality. And some of you made a comment that probably talk more about this. And so today I want to take a few minutes and give you my sense of what I believe is cultural plurality. You know, one has heard for a long time a lot of blah blah about diversity and inclusion. And a lot of this really has meant gender diversity. And if you ask me, a lot of it has been diversity, less inclusion. It has been more about metrics of hiring women and leaving it there, of metrics of promotion. Now, none of this is bad, none of this is wrong, none of this is misplaced. But I believe it's very trite. I believe it's really a checkbox. So I'm not going to be talking about diversity and inclusion today. Because just getting people of a certain demographic cut and slice by default does not really change your culture. It does not. And we can have a proper debate on this sometime. I believe great cultures are cultures which are not sterile, which is truly plural. It is not diverse in terms of token representation and checkbox exercises. It is where coexistence and co-creation of a better order is the outcome. It's not just about tolerance. It's about leading it forward, creating something new. And that is what keeps cultures very dynamic, almost like flowing rivers and not like still ponds. And the challenge, therefore, when people talk about culture fit, which I have, is that it is a stereotypical approach to a lot of organizational practice. This talent was not a culture fit, so we rejected him or we threw him out. What does it mean? Who are we to decide what is culture fit, and how do we know that culture fit is really the best strategic choice that you're exercising? Because every culture's relevance is with reference to time and context. It must morph with time. And as situations change, as your own strategic shifts happen, cultures often start lagging because you've never created in them a momentum, a natural catalyst for moving forward. You've expected them to be standing still. And this is the big reason why people don't understand culture as strategically as they should. Whereas if you build cultural plurality, it will bring in all the time by default a network of tributaries into that culture. It is not just one asymmetrical process which is going on, but it will be a set of things which are feeding into that main river. And the river meanders, moves forward, and finally becomes relevant to whatever is the operating context. How open are you to look at this entire catchment? And this is what is plural in culture shaping. So it's not just about a demographic cut and slice. It is really about the mindset. Do you have enough people who think differently? Do you have enough people who behave in a manner that creates a different momentum of challenge? Do you have enough naysayers in the system? Do you have enough challengers in the system? Do you have enough people who are not just the pure technical 2 plus 2 or 2 into 2 is equal to 4 kind of characters? Who is the poet in that group? Who is the engineer in the group? Who's the artist in the group? Metaphorically, of course. But I think it is a lot to do with having variety in the way people perceive, relate, think, influence, and the willingness to say everything is all right. There is no forced one right way of doing things. And the problem with many organizational cultures is that it gets so stereotypical to be put on the wall or to be frozen into pamphlets and booklets, we miss the plot. We actually create a problem for ourselves. And this is my problem with HR leaders or CEOs or boards which do not understand culture as dynamically as they should be understanding. And I therefore would like people to understand that diversity, difference of opinion, difference of perspectives, the ability to articulate and live and accept a different point of view is okay. In fact, it is desired. And therefore, culture fit or forced congruence is actually a case of throwing the baby out with the bathwater. And maybe that will hurt us even more. So when you look at your teams, when you look at your organizations, when you look at also the global nature of your organizations, is there enough variety of subcultures? Of course, there are some integrating levers in cultures, but is there enough variety for it to be not sterile, for it to be vibrant? And how do you shape that? How does your reward system shape cultural plurality? How does your talent system shape? How does your hiring practice shape? So my appeal is, don't look at just right measures, which so far may have been fashionable, and do a checkbox exercise. Because if the context of thinking and behaving and doing has not changed, you have not brought enough vibrance to your culture. So let me know how you think about this, and I will be very happy to engage further, as I am with some of my clients. Because at the end of the day, the most complex thing that one grapples with as you want to move from being good to great is really this culture shift. And most companies are guilty of not having enough variety and flexibility in the design of their cultures. So that's really where I spend a lot of time advising, consulting, coaching leaders and companies with it. But I would be very happy to listen to your questions, to your points of view, continue the dialogue. This is not gospel, but it is definitely a point of view. So cultural plurality for relevance today and for relevance tomorrow. Think about it, and let's continue to discuss Prabir insights. Good luck, guys.